You know, Newman, I would say, is my second all-time villain on a TV show. The first died over the weekend, Butch from the Little Rascals.
Oh, yeah, Butch. I think he was 79 years old. I would have thought it was 109.
I would have said 79 years young. But I'm telling you right now, if he would have walked in here an hour before he died, I would have jumped the fence to get away from that son of a bitch. I would have yelled, "It's Butch," and start climbing a fence.
He still had that mean face. Well, of course, he would wear the Butch hat still whenever he made an appearance.
What about Wime? When did Wime die?
I don't know when we lost Wime. I had the feeling, though, once Wime went, Butch wouldn't last long after.
I thought just the opposite. Like, if Butch died, Wime would have killed himself. So that's why I know he's already gone.
Wime would have been
friends. It's so funny. It's Wime.
Wime would have been friends with all the other Little Rascals if Butch wasn't around.
Who wanted him? Nobody ever even said anything. No one ever said, like, "Hey, Worm, what about you?" It was all about Butch. Butch was Elvis. Worm was Charlie Hodge, at best. Maybe a Red or a Sonny.
I loved any of the Little Rascals episodes where there was going to be a boxing match or a wrestling match. Sure. Alfalfa versus Butch.
First of all, I loved any of the Little Rascals episode. Maybe the greatest thing that America has to say. I would put the things that we've accomplished. Number one, the Little Rascals. Number two, the moon landing.
Really? Little Rascals first?
I love that show. I still love it. My all-time favorite, Club Spanky. Good evening, Mr. Spanky. Good evening, Mr. Spanky. Well, it's Buckwheat, and he's wearing diamonds. What a great fucking show.
Anytime the kids were just basically doing adult things. I loved anytime they put on a show, and then there would be Big Show painted on the fence door, with the backwards letters and stuff.
Sure. When they put on a show, when they started a newspaper and broke out that story about the Gas House Gang, when we found out the other guy, the nice guy, was really running the Gas House Gang.
Not to mention any vehicle like a fire truck they would put together where you pull a rope and a boot on a stick kick somebody.
Or the fact that they're little kids and they're putting out fires.
Innovators.
Yeah. Way ahead of the game. Way ahead of the game.
And I will always say, 2 more cream puffs.
2 more cream puffs. I know, Earl is our stymie. Let's face it. Who I put 10 times above Buckwheat. Why does that make you angry, Earl? Stymie was the greatest.
I don't know.
And you got the same shiny head.
I don't know. For some reason, the whole show just made me cringe.
Oh, stop with the racism. You and Bill Cosby should embrace that show.
Everyone laughed at the Little Rascals.
It
You're wearing a bowler from now on.
Yeah, get a bowler for yourself.
Then my daddy was a crap-shooting fool.
After the show here, I got to go home and grease Weezer. So I understand what's happening.
Remarkable.
And Farina, maybe TV's first androgynous star.
The original, it's Pat.
What was it?
Farina came back. I believe that was her great-granddaughter who won American Idol a couple years ago.
That's Fantasia.
But didn't she look just like Farina?
All except for the bed sheets that were cut up into hair ribbons.
Didn't you like the Little Rascals, Earl, with Yum Yum Eat 'em Up, where the African cannibal came back and was chasing the kids around? Like in the 1930s, there were still African cannibals.
That's entertainment. You can't get any better than that, Earl.
Now, the later ones with Froggy and all, I didn't care for, but I did like Robert Blake as Mickey. Remember that time that they had the father and son picnic and he was crying? You see, fellas, I ain't got no father.
It'll break your heart.
I know, he would have break your heart. And that's all I kept thinking about. And I honestly think that's why the jury found him innocent.
He should have said that on the stand. I know he was not guilty anyway, but still, throw that out there.
Yeah.
Insurance policy. You know, jury.
You know something, fellas? I ain't got no father.
Aww.
Hey, Pete from Westchester, the Bestchester. What's up, buddy? Pete.
Hey, Ron Fez. How you doing? Welcome back, guys.
It's great to be here.
Oh, yeah, the Little Rascals. Remember the one when Petey got picked up by the dog catcher, and the dog catcher asked Stymie, doesn't he have a license? And he said, no, mister, all he got is fleas.
You know what? That Petey was the best dog on the history of the planet. The best dog by far.
It would defend you. It would be right there with you.
And make funny faces.
Put its paws over its eyes when things were going wrong.
And we get a little scared, sure. You know that, Fez.
Not to mention the black eye it had, that perfect circle right around it.
That was the best dog ever. Earl, you had a great dog in that Petey. I'm really proud of him.
Oh, Petey rocked.
You know what? We didn't bring this up, too. Porky, the greatest sidekick of all time.
He's a complete imbecile.
He was along for the ride.
He was the original Forrest Gump. He was always in the right place at the right time. A couple times he even got Darla. And there was some finger banging with Darla. I mean, they didn't say it, but they insinuated.
Porky always had a snack on him. He was always chewing an apple or would have a big sandwich or something.
I don't know. He was starving. One time I saw him eating a daisy. He was just eating a daisy in the middle of an episode. Hey, Adam, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, fellas.
Hey, buddy.
Remember the cakes with the prizes in them?
Oh, yeah.
And weep, wow.
Weep, wow. Are these things running on TV anymore?
No, I think they're all on DVD and home video now.
That'd be a great present for me to get them all on DVD. Forget the home video. I'd be sitting home watching them now. I'd quit the show and go home and sit down and watch them all day.
Yeah, Ronnie's at home. Yeah, Little Rascals DVDs came out.
Hey, Chris, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Peace, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, listen, you remember that episode when Darla put the dog food right down there on her snatch and Petey went to town?
You know what? You don't have to be dirty about this. I know it's satellite radio, but this is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing that we have that we're discussing here. And I'm going to tell you the truth. With Butch dying over the weekend, my heart's a little broken. I feel safer. I feel the same way I'm going to feel after I found out Osama bin Laden's dead, because he was the Osama bin Laden of that neighborhood. You don't know when he was going to strike. And with really get on my nerves when that fucking Darla would suddenly act like he was hot, like she was attracted to it.
When Spanky and Alfalfa would come around the corner and Butch and Wayne were waiting there,
yeah,
and you just hear Alfalfa go, Butch!
It's Butch. And
just shocked.
Hey, remember the time that he was going to have to wrestle Butch? So they acted like he ruined his leg, and they just put a big, long fish in there and acted like that was his leg.
Kids just don't do those things in real life.
I don't know where you would get a fish like that. There's some big, long garfish that they had, and they were beating it with a hammer, with a sock on it, acting like he lost the feeling in his leg. The funny joke in that is the kid has lost the feeling in his limbs. That was humor back then.
And they're just whacking on it with a stick. And then there was always the big blink when you didn't believe anything.
Yeah, bing.
Just big bright eyes.
We're on the radio, so they didn't see it, Fez, but I appreciated it. Hey, Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, it's great to hear you guys again.
Thanks, buddy. What can we do for you?
Well, my favorite Little Rascals are when Spanky was a baby. And you remember the one where he went around with the hammer, and they said, "What are you doing, Spanky?" He said, "I'm bug hunting."
Oh, yeah. When Spanky was a baby, he was hysterical as a little kid. Like, he would, be 2 or 3. Yeah, he'd be sharp as hell.
Hey, Santa Claus.
Maybe I'll come up and see you sometime, Santa Claus. I guess I'm going to prison, son. These things are classics. I don't understand what's wrong with TV now. I like to get all the big studios on board and find out why they can't do anything interesting anymore. Why they can't make this shit happen.
That Spanky really put on the weight in later years, though, didn't he?
What are you going to do? By the time he was 12, he was 300 pounds. He was living large. He was like Jackie Gleason. He basically should have moved right into that. But somehow he got pussified as he got older.
Yeah, I think it was the lack of mobility, where it was just pretty much he couldn't get around like he used to on a fast-speed motion fire truck.
Remember the Silver Screen Submarine All-Star Band or something like that?
Yeah, that was the band that played the Flying Trapeze.
And it kept blowing out the tubes with the engineer. And
they were back to the old NEW. They went to NEW.
It was Pete Johnson.
With the light bulb smashing around him.
All right, hold on, guys. You're the Silver Screen Submarine Band. Yeah, what were they? The Silver something Submarine Band. Because we named one of our bands that one time.
Yeah, the Silver String
Submarine Band.
There's another name in there somewhere.
International? Was International in there somewhere?
It was something like that.
All right, I need an update on that. Here's Todd. Todd, you're on Fez.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, you drink all that beer up there, Fezzy?
I went through quite a bit of the Labatt's on Friday.
Yeah, Fez has a drinking problem.
I was putting a dent in it.
Yeah, I hear you. Hang on a second.
All right, I'm not going to hang on a second. We're doing a show here.
Yes, we'll wait for you.
Dominic, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, remember when they went golfing and they had the monkey caddy?
These things were unbelievably funny. Unbelievably funny.
It seems so simple, but no one else thought to put a monkey in a caddy suit.
It's there. Don't anyone do a Stymie joke, because that was an actual monkey.
And he kept breaking the clubs.
I wonder how long that these things took to film one. You know, where the kids... Because they said when they did the early... we watched... Some of them were Little Rascals and some of them were our gang, right?
Right.
Spanky was Little Rascals. And then when you went way back with like Jackie Cooper, right?
Yeah.
That was our gang.
That was our gangs, like Chubsy Ubsy.
Right. Those things were almost freakish. That was like watching Todd Browning and the Freaks movie, because those kids were weird. But they sat back there with Jackie Cooper, and I guess that was like in the 20s or 30s as opposed to the 40s when they did Spanky and our gang stuff. If they needed him to cry, and that kid could really cry his ass off, they would tell him something like his mom wasn't coming back or his dog was dead. And then he said he would be crying like hell. They would get the scene and they go, "Oh, don't worry, Jackie, we were just fooling you. Here's a bike." But can you imagine now if you found out they told a kid that his mom was not coming back for him or someone had killed his dog?
You'd think eventually one way or the other it would backfire. Either he would go, "Yeah, you're lying," he would just get immune to it, or he would become a nutcase and couldn't work at all.
When you got immune to it or you became a nutcase, you moved out and the next kid came in. You were burnt out at that age, Fez. You're no longer cute.
And no sort of time limit back then on how long they could work.
No, they were working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, until they got puberty. Hey, Tim, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, how you doing today?
Yeah.
Hey, I remember back when they built remember when they made the homemade fire truck, and the one rich kid had the metal fire truck, and Darla wanted to get on it and ride with him, and they all rode down the hill.
Waldo, that fucking Waldo. I hated that kid. He also had a nice boat that used to run around the reservoir. And she was such a prick. If some kid came around with money and a nice sport coat, she would take her tight little ass over to him.
Oh, yeah, that kid was dressed like Thurston Howell III.
And that's why I was so glad when they started the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Because really, it should have been the He-Man Darla Haters Club.
Yeah, it was funny because I remember Stymie and Petey were on the end of the fire truck, and they had the rear steer.
Yeah.
And they were coming around the front as they were going down the hill, and at the end of it, Darla ended up falling off of it with the ladder and stuff, and he ended up going off and ripping his pants off, and they all went through a bush, and it tore every one of them's clothes completely off except for their underwear and their tank tops and stuff. It was pretty
Remember
funny.
the hills that they were going down? They must have went up to San Francisco to shoot those hills. They were gigantic. You know there weren't any stuntmen. They just shoved these kids in these wooden go-karts and let them go rushing down these hills.
Try to hang on, Darla.
Thank God they didn't have, like, hang gliders in those days, or they would have just thrown these kids off a cliff. Mike, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Big ass card member number 18071.
I appreciate the old school. I really do.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
I missed you guys.
Thanks, man.
All right, yeah, I was going to talk to you about the episode when Spanky and Alfalfa skipped school, and then Mrs. Crabtree bought ice cream, and then they had to sing that song, and then...
Oh, yeah, it wasn't Alfalfa. It was Pre, because that was like a Porky deal, but, yeah, they skipped school, and then they found out everybody went to, like, Long Beach. They went to some kind of a big amusement park, and they had to catch up with them. And then there was that... I guess there was the master Poe of that school who was chasing them all around.
Yeah, was that the one where they had to put on ballerina outfits
I'm not
to
sure
make
about
their
that.
getaway?
I don't know about that. But I do know that they got on each other's shoulders with a really long coat. Now, the one that you were thinking about was when Alfalfa talked the guys into skipping Sunday school. And kids that don't go to Sunday school is bad.
I think they had a guy dressed up as a devil in a dream sequence for that one. Just scaring everybody.
It works. All those things worked. So Butch, gone. Age what, 79?
79. Yeah, I would have thought he was older. Is he the last one?
He was the last one of that era, I believe. You still got Mickey left.
Oh, that's right, yeah. As long as we have Beretta,
Yeah.
we still have a connection to the Little Rascals.
And he ended up crazy as is just a shithouse rat. He's just out of his head, a loon.
Is Jackie Cooper still alive?
Yeah, Jackie Cooper is alive. You're right. Who goes way back, right?
Yeah, so he was in the R gangs.
Where was Jackie Coogan? He was more of a movie star, right?
Yeah, I don't.
It was Uncle Festus.
Yeah, Uncle Fester.
Yeah, Uncle Fester.
Yeah, I don't think Jackie Coogan was a little rascal or an R gang.
He was more of a silent movie guy. He was even before.
Right.
All right. It all gets confusing, Fez.
Too many Jackies. I guess that was the in-kids name at the that era.
You can tell where the country peaked in terms of entertainment. It was right there. That was the high water mark. It's been rolling back ever since. Hey, Dan, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, boys. Just wanted to say I got the 8 DVD set over the weekend. For
Really?
Our gang. Yes. Sam's Club's got it real cheap. And just wanted to say the favorite one was Porky when he wrote all of his lines on the sheet, underneath his big sheet there. And his mom kept on yelling, Porky! When he kept on lifting up his sheet, but he sat on the chocolate.
Oh, that was the fat one. Now, that wasn't Little Porky. That was the Chubsy-Ubsy guy from way earlier.
Yeah, Chubsy-Ubsy, where he had to lift up his toga to read his lines.
Yeah.
We all got a flash of his big drawers.
I remember there was another one where Spanky, all the kids were mad at him, and he had to do, he was dressed up as a Roman soldier, and they were shooting him in the ass with pea shooters. They did a lot of performing back then. A lot of plays were going on.
A little Charge of the Light Brigade.
Yeah.
With firecrackers going off in Alfalfa's pocket.
Here's Mike. Mike, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, Mike, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm a big fan of y'all. I've been listening to y'all ever since you guys joined on the Tech Film here.
Thank you very much, buddy.
And I just wanted to say that I got a box set of the first couple of Little Rascals that ever come out. I've had it for a while, and now I've watched them all over, and I know them by heart. And I figured that if you guys really like the Little Rascals and everything, I'd send them to y'all.
Are they on DVD or video?
Video.
Yeah. That's very kind of you, but we've moved on into the DVD world.
Oh, all right.
Do you even still have a video thing, Fez?
No, I wouldn't have a place to stick that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a place to put his video.
If you send it, I'll take it right to a flea market. So, I mean, you're more than welcome to send it, and hopefully I'll get a lot of money for it. Hey, Grandpa Hoo-Hoo, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Love the show.
Thanks, man.
Hey, just going to let you guys know that there's a couple of the episodes that you can't get in the DVD collections or the VHS collections because of the racial undertone.
Some of the yum-yum eat-em-up stuff.
Well, I don't know. I think those things are in there, but the one I Wish Cotton Was a Monkey.
Yeah.
I think it was Stymie's little brother.
Yeah, and then they thought he was a monkey after that.
Yeah.
They thought he turned into a monkey.
That was a great time for stuff like that. I mean, innocence of kids.
Yeah, the innocence of racism. It was just fantastic.
We were all innocent then. We had our sheets and our hoods, and the world was ours.
Hey, I know in my neighborhood, we were still playing the Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, the bad version. I had no idea. I had no idea, Earl, until we got older, that was the bad version.
What do you mean, tiger?
Yeah. And now, Earl, in your neighborhood, what were you catching by a toe?
Nothing racially motivated.
Were you surprised when you found out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So you didn't find out till years later?
Oh, yeah. It's just sort of like, hey, wait a minute.
There's a lot of little inside jokes like that we have.
I found out when I went to public school. They're going, wait a minute. What did you just say? Said eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I remember when we were at my grandmother's house. We had this big bowl of mixed nuts, and she asked for an ento, meaning a Brazilian.
Yeah, I've heard him called that, too. Did you know that one, Earl?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they're called entos. A Brazilian nut. I don't know how that happens.
Is this like a deep South Florida thing? Or
no,
just
this
a
happened
deep
in
American
Philly.
thing?
Hey, you know what that nut looks like?
Yeah, there's no reason. There's no similarities there. It's just straight racism.
And Grandma was ticked because someone was eating all of them.
Sure.
Eating all the toes.
Oh, just bizarre. Hey, Rich. Rich, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up? How you doing? It's Rich.
Listen, I'm just calling because the reason why you can't get those scenes on those DVDs is because Bill Cosby apparently has the rights to those, and he pulled out the ones that he thought were too racist.
Urban legend, not true.
Not true, really?
Yeah, not true.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
good to know. Punching out, guys. Good job.
All right, see, I think if you even go to Snopes.com, that's already listed up as the urban legends. By the way, if you want to email us at all, it's ronandfez@AOL.com, Ron, A-N-D, Fez at AOL.com. We never heard from that guy who claimed that you guys had a point spread bet. Is Harry still looking for that?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Harry's just really, he's not sleeping. He's just all over the place right now.
Where's he looking for it at? Canada?
Yeah.
I think he's listening to the Mark Lawrence interview.
It wasn't during that.
It wasn't during the Mark Lawrence interview.
Oh, okay.
So I hope
it was after that.
Yeah.
It was a little bit after.
They come after it?
Yeah, it was definitely after that. It might have been in the last hour. Mark Lawrence we had on right around noon.
Yeah.
And then I think the bet was in the 1 o'clock hour in the East.
I would tell him not to worry about it, but I like the idea of him being away from the show. It's so less frantic and more combed hair. He's just
He's working hard though.
Yeah.
Unless he's back there saying, "Call me Chubsy Ubsy." I don't want to hear about it.
You're right. Some of those original Our Gang ones were really funny, too. With the Grease and Weezer. Maybe my all-time favorite.
It's just so disgusting that you got to put that rub on him.
Well, what do you think? That rub or the Limbaugh cheese that they want? I call it Limbaugh. What is it, actually?
Limburger.
Yeah, because I called it Rush Limbaugh cheese. Even before I knew who he was.
And hi, Krabby.
Oh, yeah. We told him you had a wooden leg. Just crying while they're describing how they ruined her life.
And the old ones, I like the kid who sold the answers to all the other kids.
Oh, children, how could you do this? You've ruined my life.
And what was Abraham Lincoln's wife's name? Mrs. Lincoln. It's like they had a whole list of jokes they wanted to try to squeeze into one episode.
Yeah, you got some gags in there, and they all work, too, Fezzy. Shane, come back, Shane. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, what's going on, you guys?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I'm surprised somebody brought it up. Remember when they would have those go-kart races, and they'd be whipping down the sidewalk and hitting people, and you'd see them fly?
Yeah, they would fly up in the air, but always you would go straight up in the air about 10, 12 feet, kicking your legs.
In a separate shot where a lady's just up in the air like she'd bounced on a trampoline and her bag of oranges went flying.
Now, when Butch died, did the president break into in with the news or anything?
I didn't see a special report. I didn't see a message from the White House.
Here's Eddie. Eddie, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Hello?
Yeah, how are you, pal?
Oh, hey, talking about like the subtle and even sometimes overt racism on the Little Rascals shows. Remember the one where they wanted to cut out of school and they painted measles on themselves?
Oh, yeah.
And they painted like white measles on buckwheat.
Yeah, buckwheat got big, dumb white measles.
Yeah, and he's sitting in the room, and the doctor like pops the balloon that was under his sweater, and he leaves the room, and he tells the kids, "Go in and get your friend." And this monkey comes out of a cage and chases buckwheat out of the room, and they come in and they think it's buckwheat there.
That's my new favorite.
So yeah.
That one and the one where they were going to cut school, and they're walking down this road, and they walk past a watermelon patch, and Stymie goes, "I can taste them watermelons right now."
I know, and he was also going, "I wish you had a watermelon," when they were rubbing on Stymie's head. Yeah. And then didn't Stymie always give off a thing of having ringworm? Like maybe that's why his head was shaved?
Oh, yeah.
That's the feeling I always had. Like maybe he was a ringworm kid.